Hello, YouTube. It's been a hot minute since I've been with everybody here on the site. And whenever I say a hot minute, I mean going on 4 months. The short version of what happened is that the overall mood and atmosphere of the year that will forever go down in history and infamy as 2020 finally caught up with me. October, is the month of Halloween. And that tends to be when something I'm really into, which is horror or monster movies, is celebrated. And, we use entertainment as a way of escaping from hardships that life throws at us. And unfortunately, October, which is actually when my first video went up, just happened to go by really quickly. And it brought me down because the usual spirit of the month wasn't there. And it started to bring me down. Add insult to injury, the next month, November, my Nana passed away. It wasn't directly because of COVID, but it seems that in the chaos that COVID brought to basically our entire societal system, kind of trickled down to nursing homes and the care that goes on there, and the rules about what people should and should not do in caring for people are not followed. And so instances of neglect kind of just built up and eventually led to, unfortunately, the death of my Nana. And so that made November particularly hard. And that trickled into December. But thankfully, towards the end of the month, with Christmas time and everything, I started the climb out of that depression. But again, long story short, the end of 2020 is whenever it finally hit me that, things were not great. Thankfully, here we are at the start of a new year, and even though things are not 100% back to normal in the world, I finally have the drive to come back and do something enjoyable. And initially my plan was to go through my DVD shelves one at a time, but I realized that after the second shelf, that would end up being, it would comprise lengthy videos if I kept on doing that system. So then I decided I would downsize and focus on specific collections and franchises and whatnot. And I've been recently talking about the franchise you can see in question, Tremors, with my good friend Nick over at Jacksonite Productions. And so I was motivated to go through my collection of VHS, DVD, and Blu-rays for the series. So I'm not going to dwell on each movie too much, because that's what the reviews with Nick are for. But I will kind of give a little bit of history for the VHSs and DVDs. Blu-rays are a recent buy. So probably the one I'll go most in-depth on is the Arrow release, which is at the bottom of the pile over there. But starting over here on the left. Actually, I did mention in the review with Nick for the original Tremors that the first way I saw the original movie was actually a copy guard tape that my parents recorded, and the whole thing had a reddish tint to the whole thing, and as I mentioned in that review, it was like Tremors on Mars is what I've been joking about it recently. I recorded over that tape with, I believe, When Dinosaurs Roamed America, of all things. It just happened to be a spare tape there, and I had already got this to replace it. So I thought, I could record over it. That's what you had to do in those days if you didn't have any blank tapes. But I got this and the second one back there off Amazon. I figured I needed a better looking copy. And I don't know if y'all can tell, there is a bit of wear, not too much. These tapes are actually in pretty good condition still. A little bit of a smudge there with the light down, like in the middle there, but still in really good condition. There's the top. Let it come into focus. The thick old VHS spines. And seeing as how I never did unfortunately pick up the DVDs for 2 and 3, I have the VHSs still, and since they haven't been released on solo Blu-ray, this is one of the only ways you can see the covers, since they've been doing the attack packs a lot lately, releasing all the movies. There's Tremors 2, Aftershocks, which I'm going to get into it more in depth with my review with Nick about my history with this, but I'll just go ahead and say that this was actually the first movie I saw in the Tremors series. And this was also another recorded tape, much better quality. In fact, I still think I have that tape, but it's nothing flashy. It's just a blank tape with a label on it. And that was recorded off DirecTV pay-per-view back whenever it was a new thing. And this was, I think, one of the first things that was on there. Spine. Sure it comes into focus on both ends. It's upside down there. Camera focus. Oh, I forgot to show the back for the first one. I'll do that here in a minute. Yeah, there's the back. Comes into focus. A really great shot of Earl there in the center, Grady on the left, and the legendary Burt Gummer on the right. There we go, there's the first one. And actually the first one of these that I got was Tremors 3, because that was the brand new movie at the time, almost 20 years ago in 2001, October 2001. Yeah, this was the brand new entry in the series, and I was super excited. This was, and I guess still is, I guess one of my prized possessions in my overall collection. A little bit of a wrinkle up there. See if it will come in focus. Probably not. Yeah, you can see it up there. It's nothing too bad. Again, these tapes are in pretty good condition. And moving right along over to the DVD pile. I actually found out recently that it wasn't true that Tremors 4 didn't have a VHS release. It actually did. But at the time whenever I got this, I thought that this was the first DVD exclusive in the series. And it actually came with, it was a double pack with the original movie. This is the popular collector's edition, part of that series that Universal put out for some of their later films. The Thing, my dad's copy of The Thing, actually is also one of these collector's editions. There's the spine for that. A bunch of nice bonus features. I do believe were thankfully carried over to the Arrow release that we're going to be covering here in a little bit. There's that. Again, came as a double pack with this. I actually feel that in my ranking video, again, that I did with Nick, that I was probably a little bit hard on Tremors 4, at least based on where I put it at the time. But I think whenever we do the solo review for this, I'll be much more fair, because this isn't a bad movie at all. But I will explain what I think is kind of problematic about it. There's the spine. This was also the first and only movie in the series where I played this on a PlayStation 2 because at the time that was the only thing I had available to play DVDs, I think, in the living room on. And here we have the back. And some pesky snapping doohickeys that if you don't remember that they're there whenever you go and try and open it, you might actually tear up the case. So gotta watch out for those. Yep, and the first one has that too. And real quick, there's the snapping mechanisms unsnapped. Just to show y'all what I was talking about, because I don't think they do this anymore. Kind of like the sticker security devices. Alright, moving right along. Here is a bootleg of Tremors the series. And might I add, it is not a good bootleg of Tremors the series. Although the case is pretty neat. And there's the discs. Nothing too spectacular. Yeah, this bootleg was from back in the dark days whenever the show was not available on disc. Thankfully, though, the show did get an official release 11 years ago in 2010, a couple months after the 20th anniversary of the original movie. I think that's what they were tying into. Yeah, and I don't remember when I got the bootleg. I guess it doesn't really matter because I never watch it. But yeah, this was released in 2010. And also, just to clarify, because I've talked with some people who I think misunderstood me, whenever I talk about the series, I'm not talking about like a collection of all the movies. This is the entire 13-episode TV show that was a direct sequel to Tremors 3. And in a lot of ways is kind of the spiritual Tremors 4, and if you want to directly follow on from Back to Perfection. There's the inside with a nice insert with El Blanco's tentacles and episode guide for each disc. Nice orange discs, which I think Nick pointed this out. Reminds you of the orange Graboid blood. Again, there's a nice view of the back and the sleeve. Just to point it out, I don't know if that was a bad Photoshop job, but I think it's a nice reference to Mixmaster, the government biological compound that mixes the DNA of all or any non-human species. I think that's what that is a reference to. At least I hope. That's the way I look at it. All right, boys and girls, and now we're getting into the home stretch of things with my most recent acquisitions, this pile here. This is the Attack Pack that was released in 2013, I do believe. This has been released on a DVD version too, and this version of the Attack Pack has the first 4 movies, as you can see back there, what we would call the Stampede era. Movies from the 90s and the early 2000s. Stampede Entertainment was the studio / company that created the Tremors franchise initially. And there have been other versions of the Attack Pack released later on with the 5th, 6th, and 7th movies. They're slightly different collections, but yeah, anyway, there's that. And here's the inside of the Attack Pack. I believe Nick has the one that has the first 5 movies. And he could probably tell me if I don't think he has the other editions that have 6 and 7, but I think they kind of more or less recreated the same format as this attack pack, which, by the way, this is an interesting phenomenon that I just discovered. Not a phenomenon, but a little feature of the Blu-rays is that the only way to access like the chapters and the bonus features is to select the pop-up menu, which is something I haven't witnessed up until now. You can see insert there. Black Hand Kelly from number 4, and Hiram Gummer, Bert's ancestor. And then there's a little bit from the original Tremors, Val and Bert. And then Bert again. And then a little bit from Tremors 3. There's probably some 2 in there too. I can't really tell because it's not super clear. But anyway, yeah. They double up the movies on the discs. I put the discs over there for a second. And now here we have the first non-Stampede Entertainment Tremors film. First movie after number 4 in 11 years, came out 2015. And me and Nick are definitely going to dive into that and also get into a little bit why Stampede Entertainment was no longer involved. But thankfully, they still included the classic tentacle Jaws-esque poster with this cover for 5. The spine. Sounds like there's a loose piece in there. In the back. Really nice. A bit of an intrusive ultraviolet ad. Disc made in Mexico. And here we have the most recent release, last year's Tremors, Shrieker Island. Technically the 7th entry in the franchise, but as you can see, I am missing the actual 6th film, Tremors: A Cold Day in Hell, and that is not by accident. It's because I really felt that there wasn't any need to have A Cold Day in Hell. Of course, I might have a relapse and fall back into my completionist phase. But, yeah, A Cold Day in Hell, just, I realized I wasn't going to watch it that much, and I didn't think I needed to own it as a hard copy. It's on Netflix, though, so for the time being, I can watch it there. Shrieker Island is definitely, in my opinion, a much better follow-up to Bloodlines, number 5 back there. So for me, thankfully, starting with A Cold Day in Hell, they dropped the numbers from the title, so there's really nothing to keep me from considering this the apology number 6, making up for A Cold Day in Hell. So yeah, that's my headcanon. Shrieker Island is my number 6. And for final note on those two, these are their slip covers, which are actually embossed or raised, I guess you'd say. Font and the little tentacle there. Has some stickers on it though. I used to pick those off until I realized it really messed up the cover. Right there. And then Shrieker Islands. A lot more pictures on this slip cover. And the one for the series is also like that too. It's embossed or raised. I'm not quite sure which term is correct, but I think those are the two that describe that. Okay, ladies and gents, and here is the grand finale, the nitty-gritty of this video. The recent, as in last month, in December, around Christmas time, which this was supposed to be a Christmas present, but it was having a little bit of trouble with snail mail and arrived this month instead. This is the Arrow Video 30th Anniversary Trimmer set. And Nick was kind of poking fun. In one of the videos I said this is gorgeous, when it is, as I'm hopefully going to demonstrate looking it over a little bit. There's a cameo from the little speck that was rattling around in the Tremors 5 Blu-ray. But anyway, starting the show off, we got the really nice hard case that everything goes in, with art by Mr. Matt Frank. Yes, the same Matt Frank who does a lot of Godzilla and tokusatsu art. You know, a funny thing about the title here is that I thought it was an actual like photo from the movie during the pole vault scene, but it's actually also a piece of art because it's illustrated if you really look at it. Really nice, reminds me of the opening title too. Side. The back, which had a sticker, one of those sticker, not an insert, but you know, has the listing of info and everything that I took off because I tend to hate those. The actual case with the discs on the inside. Black trimming instead of the usual blues that you get with the Blu-rays. Spine. Going to focus maybe. And then the sticker I was talking about, this is what has all the specs and whatnot. And I'll try and get a better look at that here in a second after I show off the discs. And here's the inside with a little booklet talking about other Arrow releases. Disc over there. First disc. And the second disc, which has most of the goodies. And these were on the inside. I almost forgot to take them out. There's two Chang's Market coupons. How about that? Really neat little thing there. Same thing. And then we got lobby cards. Original poster, I do believe, on each one. Val and Earl, one of the best dynamic duos out there. Yeah, poster again. Third act highlight right there. Discovery. And finally, rock, paper, scissors. Again, like I said in our review, whenever I hear rock, paper, scissors, I think of Tremors. Almost forgot this one. This is the final lobby card. For a final note about the case, before we get over to that coolness over there, like a lot of these Blu-ray companies, what they do is they have their special art as the main cover, and it also you can flip it around to where it has the classic poster art. And I'm not going to read off every single one of these because my phone doesn't allow for that amount of time to pass for recordings. But to answer Nick's question whenever we were talking about it, this does have the old documentary, making of documentary, and plenty more. New commentaries, new features. Disc 2's stuff is apparently limited edition exclusive, so I know how some people feel about having multiple copies of a movie, but if you're a fan, I think you owe it to yourself to pick this up, because there's lots of good goodies in here. And I wish that would come into focus, but the one that stands out to me is there's a little featurette apparently called Pardon My French, which talks about the all the TV dubs for the movie, which are actually pretty funny. Yeah, there's a whole lot of new goodies in here about the music, new interviews with the directors and writers and whatnot. Just Just definitive stuff right there. And here we have definitely one of the coolest little things added in here. Also illustrated by Matt Frank. Kaiju fans watching this, this will probably remind them of those charts that were done for a lot of the Gamma monsters that were featured in the Shout Factory DVDs for the Showa Gamma series. But yeah, lots of really cool little tidbits there. If you want to know the inner workings of our favorite graboids, yeah, it's a pretty detailed little analysis thing there. And on the flip side, there is a City of Perfection signpost. Final little bits included in this Blu-ray set. This is a poster, which is also something you see with a lot of Scream Factory and various other Blu-ray company releases. Basically, this poster has this art, which you can display, probably with the title. I do believe I did unfold it. And also on the flip side also has the theatrical poster art too. I'm not going to unfold it in this video, but if the viewers really want to see it, I'll do a separate little video with it all unfolded out and show both sides of it. I'm not really sure if I'm going to put it up anywhere as of yet. I don't know if I have a space for it. But yeah. Let's see if I can flip through this a little bit. Basically a making of. Look. A lot of cool pictures, looks like. Be careful of that so it doesn't get all super creased up. But yeah. Cool shit. Alright, ladies and gents, boys and girls, anyone and everyone who's watching, I think that'll about do her. That is my Tremors collection, VHS, DVD, and Blu-ray. I think one reason why this was my comeback video, can't believe I already have one of those, is because the Tremors franchise is very near and dear to my heart. And I've also been talking about it with another fellow fan, Nick Jackson at Jacksonite Productions, who y'all should check out. Extra final note, it'd be nice. It seems like Stampede Entertainment has a good relationship with Arrow based on how this was treated. It'd be nice if we at least got something similar for Tremors 2. You know, this bad boy over here. Because that's of the Tremors films, particularly the older ones. The first two tend to be the most favorably talked about. And I think it needs a special edition. It'd be nice if 3 and 4 got one. It'd be nice if an Arrow version of 3 maybe included the entire series as an extra, even though there is this DVD. It'd be nice to have that extra on a noteworthy set, because it might draw more attention to what is, as I was talking about with Nick again, becoming a seemingly quickly forgotten piece of the franchise. I mean, the diehards know about it, maybe, but yeah, it seems to be falling out of the spotlight. Yeah, it'd be nice, but I don't know if we're gonna get it if we got some more sets like this. But at the very least, the original movie got one. It'd be nice if those Stampede sequels got some kind of Arrow video or some other company treatment, because the only way to watch them is on the attack packs. So yeah, it'd be nice to see those again. And before closing out, I would be remiss not to mention the glory of Dr. Nandi Montabo, Brown Sugar Badass. People who know me will get the in-joke about why I referenced that. Alright, so, alright guys, check out Jacksonite Productions. especially because we're going to keep on going through the Tremors films. Tremors 2 is next, and then 3, and then so on from there. Check out the Fictosphere, because I am still a contributor over there. And also, there will not be quite as long a wait, I promise, for the next video. I'm going to keep the subject a surprise, but it will be related to something that I've been watching on streaming, particularly Pluto TV as of late. So yeah, that will be coming along, and it's going to be a surprise. But until the next time, guys, take care.